And then, what about all those bits in the New Testament, many of them, that talk about new heaven, new earth, new creation, new Jerusalem?
喺新約裏邊經常提到新天、新地、新耶路撒冷等等。OK.
That's Cantonese. Okay. In English, there's only one word new.
喺英語嘅裏邊，新只係一個字嘅啫。
I'm sure Cantonese is a richer language. In Greek, there's two words for new, neos and kainos.
喺希臘文裏邊係有兩個字係應用喺新呢個概念嘅裏邊。
And the word neos means brand new, never been seen before.
Neos 呢個字咧係全新，未曾出現過嘅全新嘅意思。
So if I'm driving my car, I have a crash, it's a complete write-off, then I have to get a neos.
如果我揸住嘅車，我係完全撞毀咗佢，我冇事啦，當然係。咁咧就我有一個全新嘅車，嗰架係一個 Neos。
Toyota Neos. But if I'm driving my car and it has an accident, it's only slightly damaged, that's taken to the repair shop, they knock out the dent, they repaint it, they clean it beautifully inside, give it a valet service, return it to me. You remember all of this? And then, at the end of it all, I have a beautiful Kainos car.
當我撞咗個車，可能撞爛個泵把，或者刮花到門，我攞去嗰個嘅整車嘅地方，佢幫我整翻嗰個泵把，油翻好，甚至乎幫我清潔晒成架車，來去全部全新嘅一樣。但係我攞翻嗰個車咧係 Kainos。
Every time that the New Testament talks about new heaven, new earth, new creation, new Jerusalem, it uses kainos.
每一次新天、新地、新耶路撒冷都係 kainos。
We need to move on. Not at the end, oh no. Oh, there's some more down here. Oh boy. Now this is really important.
跟住仲有一啲好重要嘅。
Romans 8 verse 21.
羅馬書8章21節。
Paul talks about creation as like a pregnant woman.
保羅講到呢個嘅受造之物就好似個成日有受孕嘅婦人一樣。
It says creation is groaning in the labor pains, waiting for the baby to be born.
彷彿呢個受造之物係一個嘅喺個生產個陣痛嘅過程嘅裏邊。
What's the baby's name?
個嬰孩個名係咩啊？
New creation.
個嬰孩係新嘅創造。
Continuity and discontinuity.
有好似同今日持續嘅，但係都同今日係唔持續嘅有個特性。
In the same passage in Romans 8,
同樣同一段嘅聖經
Paul says creation is waiting to be set free from its bondage to decay.
保羅話受造之物都會得着自由。
Creation's not waiting to be destroyed; it's waiting to be released.
受造之物係等緊呢個嘅時刻，係嚟到被釋放。
And right at the end of the Bible, Jesus says, "Behold, I'm making everything new."
喺最後尾，聖經去到最後尾喺個啟示錄裏邊有一章，佢話：我會將我一切都會做新㗎。
Kainos again. Jesus didn't say, "Behold, I'm making lots of new things."
耶穌冇話我會做好多全新嘅嘢。
If we'd given the Bible to a marketing consultant,
我如果將聖經俾一個市場學嘅人嘅話
Jesus would make lots of new things and they're available special offer down in the mall, but buy them today, they'll be gone by tomorrow.
耶穌就嗰啲市場推廣嘅人就話會話耶穌佢會做好多新嘅嘢擺喺個市場裏面去買啦，第日就冇咗㗎啦。
Not new things, but making everything new, remaking, renewing, restoring, repairing, redeeming, recycling. Okay, you can just translate this one. Give my voice a rest.
呢位聖經學者 N.T. Wright 佢喺《Surprise by Hope》呢本書嗰裏邊會提到話，上帝會去拯救整個宇宙，耶穌基督係呢個嘅新嘅生命嘅開始。呢、個新嘅生命係由嗰個嘅敗壞嘅嗰啲嘅混凝土同埋喺個舊世界敗壞嘅混凝土嘅裏邊生出嚟嘅新嘅嗰啲嘅草。
I'm going to skip through a few slides now because we're running really short on time. So if we can just move through a little bit. And I'm going to finish by talking a little bit about Arusha. If that's okay? Yeah. Most of you know a little bit about Arusha, but maybe some of you don't know very much.
可能好多人都或者佢中間呢個可能未必好多人聽過 Arusha 呢個機構所做嘅嘢。
We're simply one Christian organisation trying to respond to this biblical call to care for creation.
我哋只不過係眾多唔同嘅啲基督教嘅一啲群體中間去嘗試去回應呢個上帝嘅呼召。
Our name means Portuguese for the rock.
我哋個名喺葡萄牙文裏邊係磐石嘅意思。
Three reasons for the name. One, this place in Portugal, it's called Quinta da Rocha.
第一件，我哋喺葡萄牙第一件工作30年前開始嘅時候，呢、個地方 Quinta da Rocha。
Two, God is our rock. We try and base everything that we do on biblical teaching.
我哋亦都強調，我哋係基於嗰個磐石耶穌基督，所有嘅教導，所有嘅做法都由咗聖經嗰個基礎而嚟。
Three, geology about rocks is the source of the sciences. We try and base everything we do on good, solid science.
地質學係可以咁講好多嘅即係自然科學嘅一個基礎嘅時候，我哋都希望盡量我哋所做嘅嘢係基於科學嘅研究、科學嘅實況出嚟。
So we do science-led, community-based conservation projects.
我哋係會喺我哋主要係喺嗰個嘅每個基於以地區以呢個嘅社區為基礎，基於科學嘅研究嚟做好多係自然保育嘅工作。
And they look very different.
每一個地方嘅工作都會唔同。
Because they're expressions by local Christians in each country of what works in their situation.
會係基於當地嘅基督徒，佢哋點睇係佢哋喺當地適切嘅需要而做佢哋適切嘅工作。
So in Portugal, protecting an estuary and some important botanical areas from inappropriate tourist development.
喺葡萄牙，我哋係喺嗰個嘅呢啲河道嘅出口嗰個地方去做緊一啲嘅自然生態嘅保育嘅工作。
That's a European bee eater, in case you're a bird owner. And it also has involved us in taking a local landowner to court when they broke the law and tried to destroy a protected area.
但係我哋除咗做自然保育工作之外，如果即呢個係呢個係一個比較特殊嘅例子。當地我哋有面對緊一個嘅地主咧，佢哋係做緊一啲嘅嘢係要毀壞當地嘅自然生態，我哋甚至乎需要去同佢哋嚟到對簿公堂嘅。
We don't often get involved with court cases, but here we had 20 years of scientific evidence to help with the case.
我哋唔係成日都同人打官司，不過今次呢個嘅個案就係我哋有經過20年嘅科學研究之後，攞住呢啲嘅數據就同佢去到嗰個嘅歐洲嘅法院嚟到。同佢哋到抗辯。
And Arusha has developed 5 core characteristics.
我哋有5個嘅核心嘅價值。
I'm sorry they don't all begin with C in every language.
喺英文裏邊係全部用 C 嚟到開始。
We are Christian.
我哋好強調我哋係一個基督徒嘅群體，基於聖經。
There are lots of good reasons for caring for the planet.
其實咧周圍坊間有好多好嘅原因去做自然保育。
But for us, the primary one is that this is God's world entrusted to our care.
對我嚟講，最重要原因係呢個屬於上帝嘅世界，係佢賦予我哋要我哋去做。
Secondly, our emphasis is biodiversity conservation.
我哋嘅焦點係生物多樣性嘅保育。
Because that's the first thing God tells people to do in the Bible.
因為呢個我哋相信係上帝喺聖經裏面一開始要叫我哋做嘅嘢。
Thirdly, we have a strong emphasis on community.
我哋好強調喺嗰個社區嘅層面做嘢。
Because people are part of biodiversity conservation.
因為人都屬於呢個嘅生物多樣性個社群中間。
And sadly, sometimes conservationists don't care for people, and people don't care about wildlife. We need to bring them together.
有陣時保育工作者會唔係好理人，另一方面，我哋希望能夠將兩者都擺埋一齊。
We also have a strong community emphasis. We often have field study centres where people may live together, share their meals together, invite visitors together as well.
個社群嗰個嘅焦點更加在於我哋有好多時會係有嗰啲嘅所謂研究中心啦，研究中心裏邊咧有好多有機會係我哋住埋一齊，彼此分享研習，亦都同一時間分享我哋工作。
Fourthly, cross-cultural.
跨文化。
We want to see indigenous examples of creation care in Christian communities all around the world.
我哋希望喺世界各地唔同嘅地方有佢發自本土嘅一啲嘅基於佢哋嘅文化，基於佢哋嗰個嘅價值嘅工作嚟開始。
The Christian Church is the world's largest NGO.
基督徒嘅群體教會其實係全球最大嘅一個嘅非政府組織。
And we want Christians to listen to each other and learn from each other around the
我哋
world
盼望都鼓勵基督徒群體彼此學習，彼
about
此聆
caring
聽。
for creation.
我哋一齊同心去做呢個嘅工作。
And finally, cooperation.
我哋係好強調合作。
We are clearly biblically based,
我哋係好強調，我哋係以聖經為基礎。
but we happily work with people who are not.
我哋但係都好開心同其他一啲唔係一定基督徒嘅群體一齊合作。
So we'll work with secular conservation groups.
我哋同一啲坊間嘅環境環團嚟到工作。
So it might be WWF, Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace. Fine.
我哋可能會同 Greenpeace 或者係其他唔同嘅環團嚟工作。
We may not agree on everything, but there are particular campaigns we can unite on.
我哋可能有啲嘢未必互相同意，但係我哋會係喺某啲嘅場合底下，我哋一齊嚟去做工作。我哋亦都係 IUCN 嘅 members。
Yes, yeah. We also sometimes work with other faiths.
我哋有陣時甚至會同其他信仰群體一齊合作添。
Sometimes politicians will listen when different faith communities speak together about an environmental issue.
有陣時政客會係因為唔同嘅信仰群體，大家一齊去講緊同一樣嘢嘅時候，佢哋會聆聽。
We don't compromise by praying together, but we can happily campaign together.
我哋未必會同佢一齊嚟到敬拜，一齊祈禱，但係我哋會係喺唔同嘅層面同你一齊合作。
We'll rattle through these. This is a part of West London in the UK where I live, and that's what it used to look like 20 years ago.
喺20年前呢個係喺倫敦喺阿 Dave 屋企附近一個嘅地方。
And God said to me the same thing that He had said back 25 years ago. How do you think I feel about this place?
上帝喺呢度同佢講，究竟你會覺得點樣咧？
And God gave us a vision for making the urban desert bloom, and for restoring and renewing
上
creation.
帝俾一個嘅異象俾我，俾我哋就係將呢個喺市中心嘅一個嘅荒廢之地成為一個嘅綠野。
It's quite a big site. It's about 90 acres.
係啊，大概90畝嘅一個地方，係幾大一個地方。
Belonging to local government.
係當地政府嘅地。
This is what it looked like before.
20年前係咁樣嘅。
We worked with the local government to raise awareness, develop a plan, involve the community, raise the money, give ecological advice, and gradually that site was transformed.
我哋同本地嘅政府同埋其他社團合作，我哋去籌款，我哋同社區一齊合作。
And 10 years ago it was opened as a new country park and nature reserve.
10年之前呢個終於成為一個嘅郊野公園，亦都係一個嘅自然保育區。
And every year we bring thousands of school children to do environmental education there.
每一年有數以千計嘅小朋友嚟到呢個地方嚟到有環境教育。
So that's just another example.
呢個係其中一個例子。
In India,
喺印度，
we work on elephant conservation.
我哋同啲農夫做一啲嘅同保育大象有關嘅工作。
Right on the edge of the big city of Bangalore.
喺Bangalore 呢個大城市喺嗰個邊緣地區。
Helping deal with human-elephant conflict.
去處理人同大象之間嗰個嘅衝突關係。
In Kenya,
喺肯亞，
we help protect a forest, and also helps by doing that we help sponsor children from around that forest to go to school.
我哋幫助當地嘅嗰啲村民，除咗保育嗰個嘅熱帶雨林之外，你透過啲保育工作，令到啲村民可以將佢哋嘅細路仔送去中學嚟到讀書。
I've spoken too long. I was forgetting how long it takes when we're translated. So apologies for that. Yeah. We only have about 5 minutes
可能只得5分鐘嘅時間，因為要趕住過去對面去。
before we need to finish. But are there any quick questions that people might have?
有冇啲
Probably
比較
lots.
可能快嘅時間，快問題，大家想問一問嘅？當下即刻有啲咩問題？你可以用中文講，可以翻譯。
Maybe I start with one. We are like-minded people. We all care about nature and conservation, but not church congregation.
Yeah.
How can we bring this back to our church and inspire them to care what we care about?
I think to get churches involved, first be prepared for a long struggle.
預咗有長期嘅抗戰，
That's the reality.
呢個係實況嘅。
This is universal, right? Not just Hong
Yeah.
Kong, but
Oh, it's not just Hong Kong. This It takes 1 or 2 generations for a change as big as this to
兩個時
happen.
間要去改變教會嘅生態神學，唔係生態神生態同埋神學。
Secondly, relate everything you do back to the Bible and back to Jesus.
所有嘢去要基於聖經，翻去耶穌身上面。
Because initially some pastors will have the suspicion that this is something a bit weird and not really Christian.
因為總會有啲嘅牧者會覺得呢啲嘢係好古怪嘅嘢，好似同基督徒冇關係咁樣。
Pray,
努力咁祈禱，
and where you can get church people and church leaders out to enjoy nature, they will begin to get it.
將嗰啲嘅教會領袖牧者帶佢到郊野，讓佢哋第一身咁睇下究竟嗰個嘅創造係幾咁美麗，點樣幾咁嘅多元嘅時候，佢哋開始會見到。
So you can sometimes use other excuses. Say, we need something to build up our church family. Let's have a picnic out somewhere nice.
可能有啲嘅唔同嘅聚會，咦？不如唔好淨係喺教會裏邊啦，或者喺人工化地方啦，就算外面野餐啦，或者係旅行啦。
Let's take a walk around. Where were we yesterday? Taipo.
Long Valley.
Yeah, or Long Valley, and bring our non-Christian friends to evangelize them. But we can enjoy creation as well.
帶佢哋去到塱原啦，或者大埔啦。我哋尋日喺塱原睇咗50幾種象。
So that's just a few ideas. I am sorry that we ran so short on time.
唔好意思，個時間真係有比較上緊湊少少，比較上問添咗。有冇其他問題？仲有5至10分鐘 OK 嘅。
Did you want to say anything, Christine, or one of the organisers at this point?
唔好意思啊，因為其實我聽過 Dave 講佢真係45分鐘可以講完嘅，但係如果加埋中文傳譯係要多啲時間。不如其實大家對聖經嘅即係或者阿 Dave 講啦，即係我哋從聖經去睇翻我哋點解要做保育咧，其實喺呢方面有冇問題？因為佢係就係神學即係教神學嘅，係啦，咁呢一方面大家冇問題。5至10分鐘時間咯，我諗係啦，佢哋有下一場講道。
If you're interested in reading the book Planetwise, 2 things I can say about that.
如果你有興趣讀關於佢其中一本書 Planetwise 嘅話，
You can, if you have a Kindle or an e-reader on your computer, you can download it.
其實呢個有呢個紙嘅版本啦，但係同樣你去 IVP 即係
thinkivp.com/ebooks。
係有嗰個嘅E 嘅版本喺 Amazon 亦都有 E 嘅版本，無論英國、美國、加拿大嘅都會有喺上面你可以買到。Kindle。
And we hope from next year there will be a Chinese translation translated by Samuel.
我哋同校園書房而家做緊一個合作計劃，將呢本書翻譯成中文。
或者咧，其實咧應該有啲姊妹都。
Quick question. Things are becoming political. How can we involve environmental issues but not political?
How can we get involved in environmental issues without becoming political?
Yeah. Under local.
Yeah. It's difficult. Sometimes we may not choose to be political, but sometimes people will interpret what we say as political just because we're being biblical. To take another issue, William Wilberforce saw that slavery was very unjust. He had to become political to deal with slavery.
有陣時我哋唔想去介入政治嘅或者政黨，應該係政黨政治嘅爭拗中間，所有啲政治嘅嚟講真。但係有陣時因為我哋要堅持聖經嘅原則嘅緣故，往往冇辦法唔去踩入去。佢舉個例子係200年前英國嘅國會裏邊有位政治家 Wilberforce， 佢要同呢個嘅奴隸制度去嚟到抗爭嘅時候，佢就有一個政治，佢都要踩入政治裏邊做呢樣嘢。
But I think to avoid people saying you're being political rather than being biblical, then keep everything biblical. Always talk about why we're doing it for this reason, because of what the Bible teaches.
當人去指責你話你做呢樣嘢嘅時候，好似好政治化喎。你只能夠作為基督徒，你只能夠話呢個係我信聖經裏邊，我要基於聖經裏邊所教導話俾我聽嘅世界觀，而你就去做呢樣嘢，而唔係因為某啲政治嘅概念或者甚至乎係某啲嘅 alliance 即係 alignment 咁樣。
You can keep in touch. If you have any questions you think of later, through Christina maybe, or I have some cards if you want to email. If you have some questions, I can't respond in Cantonese, but he can translate.
如果你有咩問題咧，你可以Dave 咧其實有啲嘅 business card，如果你真係好想，你可以攞佢 card 咧，你 email 佢，你可以同佢有對話，當然英文啦。我自己都有啲嘅，即係你可以用中文同我講，或者用 email 都得。我當然有啲 card，如果你想即係俾大家知道。另外咧就我哋帶咗一啲嘅最新一期嘅一個嘅newsletter。咁咧就大家可以攞去睇下究竟阿 Rosa 做緊啲乜嘢。咁咧就OK。我哋亦都喺網上邊，其實咧我哋會每一個月有一次嘅 e-news，OK， 咁就會俾大家即係俾大家，如果你好想收到啲 e-news 嘅時候咧，其實
They can just email international@arosha.org.
All right, OK，底下其實呢度有一個嘅 email。OK， 呢度嗰個 newsletter 後邊咧有一個 email address international@arosha.org， 你可以 send 佢嘅時候咧，咁你如果你想 subscribe to 即係去加入嗰個嘅 e-news 裏邊咧，你可以加落去。同埋其實本地嗰個嘅自然中文名係咩？基督徒自然其實有個群組，其實我哋同佢一齊合作去做呢樣嘢咧，嗰個團契咧，其實我哋都會經常同佢哋有好多合作嘅機會。咁就唔知佢哋會唔會有機會 eventually 成為阿 Rosa 嗰部分，不過呢個係 work on 緊 ，OK。咁但係同一時間咧，其實我相信佢哋會有 ongoing 有啲嘅工作，有啲嘅俾大家去有啲聚會嘅時間，咁可能呢個係其中一個途徑，大家可以 keep on 一個 contact。
或者我一陣補充一啲啊，咁我哋先多謝阿 Dave 同埋。